Hello viewers, now I am with new chapter in economics, that is the theory of general equilibrium. Myself R.P. Srivastava, I have going to discuss the theory of general equilibrium analysis. Today's topic, that is the theory of general equilibrium analysis. Here we have to face two words that are general, that is quite often used, and equilibrium. Let us first know what is equilibrium all about. Equilibrium, the term equilibrium generally comes firstly in physics or physical science. Let us first know what physical science have to say about equilibrium. In physical science, the term equilibrium means a state of balance between opposing forces or effects, that is a state in which forces making for a change in opposite directions are perfectly in balance so that there is no tendency to change. Here the term equilibrium that comes from physics, but now here having broader connotation, and when we talk about equilibrium we have to consider two opposite forces that are acting one upon other in a system, and the resultant is there that there is no tendency to change from the existing situation, and that very situation is called equilibrium. In the words of Fritz Machlup, an equilibrium is a constellation of selected interrelated variables so adjusted to one another that no inherent tendency to change prevails in the model which they constitute. Let us describe this definition that is given by Fritz Machlup. Here he talks about a system where there are number of variables or constellation of variables are there acting one upon another, and the situation appears, or in the model all the variables acting one another or interacting with one another comes in the situation where they want to prevail in the existing situation. That very situation is called equilibrium. Till now we know what is equilibrium all about. Let us discuss the concept of equilibrium in economics. The term equilibrium has often been used in economic analysis. In fact, modern economics is sometimes called equilibrium analysis. Whatever topic we select, there comes the term equilibrium. So, wherever we talk about economics, we have to take the consideration of equilibrium, of the situation, of the condition, of the model, etc., etc. As Professor J.K. Mehta has defined, equilibrium denotes in economics absence of change in movement, where the situation prevailing is not in having no inclination to change. The concept is like the economist compass with which he can indicate the changes in economic phenomena. Here, as compass shows the direction, in same way for economist equilibrium we have like a compass that show the direction. In economic theory we are concerned mainly with the stable equilibrium. We always talk about a stable equilibrium value. but cases of neutral equilibrium value and unstable equilibrium value also may be there, as in case of physical science, we when analyzing the situation of stability, we take the example of a kip that is put on its mouth sides, that is stable equilibrium, when turned slightly, that is unstable, and when we put just opposite, it can't be stable at all. So, in economics, the emphasis is always there to search stability or situation of stability in equilibrium, but there may be the situation where we are in condition to have a neutral equilibrium value that for the time being having different position from the stable value, but inclined to take the earlier situation of stability. But in case of unstable equilibrium value, that value is quite apart from the stable equilibrium value. Equilibrium may be analyzed in economics in various ways that are as follows. Economists talk about different types of equilibrium: unique equilibrium, multiple equilibrium, equilibrium of short term and long term, static and dynamic kind of equilibrium. So, static versus dynamic, long term versus short term, unique versus multiple, and partial equilibrium analysis and general equilibrium analysis. Here, the topic that is under consideration is the theory of general equilibrium analysis. So, before going to analyze the theory of general equilibrium analysis, it is quite natural to know the opposite view first, that is partial equilibrium analysis. Having an idea about partial equilibrium analysis, we are in position to discuss the theory of general equilibrium analysis in detail. Partial equilibrium analysis. As I have mentioned earlier, that before coming to the point of the discussion on the theory of general equilibrium analysis, let us first discuss partial equilibrium analysis, or the equilibrium analysis, or equilibrium in general parlance or in general terms of economics. We talk about partial equilibrium analysis, but when we specify the differences between partial and general equilibrium analysis, there comes first partial equilibrium analysis. Partial equilibrium analysis is the study of behavior of individual decision making units in working of the individual markets, when first viewed in isolation from the rest of the economy, and secondly with the object of determining the equilibrium position of these units. So, the emphasis in partial equilibrium analysis lies on the individual decision units and in a definite market, and that market is quite isolated from the rest of the economy, and secondly with the object of determining the equilibrium position of these units. So, too many variables are there, but in that condition we take out the important one, leaving rest aside, and determine the equilibrium or the condition of equilibrium due to two or the special mean variants or factors that are affecting the situation for decision regarding equilibrium. The equilibrium of a single consumer or producer, single firm or single industry are examples of partial equilibrium analysis. Generally, we talk about the price determination, the wage determination, the interest rate evaluation, etc., etc., the commodity price or the industrial equilibrium, where the industry will be in the position to find itself in equilibrium position, where the forces of demand and supply interact with each other to have a balancing situation. So, all these are the examples of partial equilibrium analysis. It is thus a case of abstraction. So, when we talk about partial equilibrium analysis, we take out a abstract and a process of simplification that works by choosing a few variables. We can let others go which do not matter. There are so many variables are there, but amongst them we have select a few on the basis of which we are going to search the situation of equilibrium, leaving the rest aside. Otherwise, there comes the situation of conglomeration, where it will be quite uneasy to find the point of equilibrium. So, leaving other things without consideration, here we have to take care of only those variants which we are going to analyze, to count or to decide the equilibrium. So, the ceteris paribus, other things being equal or other things remaining the same, this is quite important when we go through partial equilibrium analysis. We suppose other things as it is. Suppose we have to analyze or we have to find the situation where a commodity, demand of a commodity on a definite price will be in the situation of equilibrium. In that case, we suppose that the income of the consumer, the various factors affecting the producers are in ceteris paribus condition. So, we can't take the consideration of all those variants. In microeconomic analysis, we generally talk about partial equilibrium analysis. If truly said, microeconomic analysis is basically a partial equilibrium analysis. Having all the discussion about what is equilibrium, what are the different types of equilibrium in economic analysis, and lastly, what is partial equilibrium analysis. Now come to the main topic, that is general equilibrium analysis. General equilibrium analysis examines the interconnections that exist among all decision making units and markets and studies their behavior simultaneously with the object of working out the equilibrium position of all the decision making units and markets of the economy. Here, quite opposite to the partial equilibrium analysis, we, while deciding the equilibrium, while analyzing the equilibrium, examine the interconnection between different variables in the market in different markets acting or reacting upon the actions of one to the another comes into consideration, and then after that we come to the point of general equilibrium analysis. Here the focus is to decide the point of equilibrium about all the commodities within all the markets simultaneously. So, simultaneity is the main factor while going through general equilibrium analysis. The determinate solutions are found out by solving a system of simultaneous equations which include all the variables. Here multiple variables are there, multiplicity of markets are there, multiplicity of commodities like substitutes and complementary goods are there. They having their impact on one another, and so the situation of simultaneity appears. Then we frame different simultaneous equations, and through solving these simultaneous equation we reach at the level of general equilibrium, in which all the commodities having all the markets at a time will be in the position of equilibrium. Operationally speaking, general equilibrium exists only when supply equals demand in all the markets. So, we are talking about all the markets. There must be the equilibrium between demand and supply, that are the deciding forces, and for all kinds of goods, that may be for final products, that may be for intermediate products, or even all the factors of productions of the economy are in condition when we going to analyze the theory of general equilibrium analysis. As the price of every good, service and factor depends on the price of every other good, service and factor, a change in any price will affect every other price in the system. So, any tilt, any change in any commodity, it may be final product, intermediate product, or factor of production, even any market having simultaneous repercussions or changes that appears. Roughly, we have analyzed partial equilibrium analysis and general equilibrium analysis, where partial equilibrium analysis is the analysis of the situation of an individual unit in an individual market, while when talk about general equilibrium analysis, we simultaneously consider all the commodities in all the market at the point of time. So, of course, here vastness lies, or if we say partial equilibrium analysis provides the way to reach at the level of general equilibrium analysis. So, the path of study of general equilibrium analysis comes into operation having the idea of partial general equilibrium analysis. So, what usage of general equilibrium analysis? Let us discuss this. To get an overall complete picture of the economy and study the problems involving economy as a whole, we have to go for the theory of general equilibrium analysis. To get the golden rule, what is the golden rule? This rule states that the necessary condition for the resources to be fully employed is the existence of general equilibrium. In any economy, if the situation of general equilibrium prevails, that is liable to be full employment of all the existing resources. Only in a state of full employment can the society strive to raise its standard of living. Until and unless we talk about general equilibrium analysis, or having no idea about general economic equilibrium analysis, we are not in position to find the complete or full employment of resources having attainment of highest standard of living. So, the study, or this is the use of general equilibrium analysis. The general equilibrium system also provides us with an ideal datum of economic efficiency. So, if we talk about economic efficiency or efficiency regarding the use of or complete use of resources available to the maximum level of satisfaction, is analyzed or attained only having the idea of the general theory of general equilibrium analysis. The general equilibrium system also represents the coveted state from the vantage point of welfare, as maximization of the use of resources is the criteria to have the attainment of a standard of living, and ultimately that led to the attainment of highest point of welfare. So, the usage of general equilibrium analysis is very much important in context of the standardization or complete use or getting the efficiency or reaching at the point of highest welfare. Continued from the previous slide, let us discuss more usefulness of the theory of general equilibrium analysis. The theory of general equilibrium solves the fundamental problems of a free economy, that is, what to produce, how to produce, and how much to produce, etc., through the working of price mechanism. As economics starts with the questions what to produce, how to produce, and how much to produce, these are the fundamental issues, or at least for a market economy, the price mechanism plays the role, and it takes helps, or the theory comes under consideration to reach to the answer of all these questions is the theory of general equilibrium analysis. Here lies the usefulness or importance of this theory. The theory also gives clues for predicting the consequences of an economic event. Having the idea about the equilibrium, we are in position to predict the happenings that are going to occur if there appears a change in the variance deciding the general equilibrium. This theory also unravels the determinants of distribution of income in a community. How the income distribution takes place in a community is also decided with the use of general equilibrium analysis. The general equilibrium analysis also finds application in the field of public policy. Various policy formulations are based on the idea of general equilibrium analysis. How much changes, if taken, can result to impacts over the society are analyzed or predicted on the basis of general equilibrium analysis, and that idea given by the general equilibrium analysis provides the idea to go for public policy. The practical application of general equilibrium analysis is in the input-output analysis. Later on, when we discuss about the different variants of the theory of general economic analysis, we are in position to practically apply the input output analysis to reach the level of general equilibrium. Let us discuss in this slide what are the limitations of general equilibrium analysis. It is essentially static, so it leaves apart the idea of dynamism, but in reality we can't ignore the idea of dynamism that is essential in economics. This is one of the limitations of general equilibrium analysis. It ignores leads and lags, for it considers everything to happen instantaneously. There always appears a time lag. If one change occurs at a point of time, the repercussions or the consequences or the happening then after that takes time. But in this analysis we never thought about it. We suppose that each and every event occurs instantaneously, but in real life that is not the case. Again, it involves astronomical volumes of calculations for estimating the various quantities and prices. In economics, we study about the point of equilibrium regarding quantity demanded, quantity supplied, or at the different level of prices. But if we take the scenario in which multiple commodities, prices and different markets are there, we have to analyze multiple simultaneous equation in simultaneity. That is a astronomical tasks that leads to a calculation jargon, and generally we find ourselves puzzled in way of solving all these calculations. The solutions attained may lie in the domain of imaginary numbers. No economic meaning can attach with it. There may appear the situation while analyzing the simultaneous equations to solving or to enriching at the level of finding point of equilibrium, we reach or our answer comes under the domain of imaginary number, but economics the imaginary number having no value at all. So, it fall flops there and its usefulness becomes nullified. The general equilibrium analysis is also found to flounder when the theoretical conclusions are juxtaposed with the empirical results. Here, the general equilibrium analysis provides the solution that is quite contrary, that comes in view when we go through empirical analysis. This situation of general equilibrium analysis is also puzzling one. Last but not the least, it falls to the ground as its star assumptions of perfect competition is contrary to the actual condition prevailing in the real world. The most important assumptions regarding analyzing or going through general equilibrium analysis to presume that always prevails the condition of perfect competition, but that is the condition in reality, and at that point the total usefulness comes at the level of failure, and this is the ultimate limitation of general equilibrium analysis. Now a brief summary. Let us summarize all the discussion in this slide. This theory provides a bold attempt to view the numerous interdependencies of an economic system. As we know, economy is a quite complex thing, and so many commodities, prices, factors are there that have to be studied. So, the theory of general equilibrium analysis is a bold attempt to view the numerous interdependencies of an economic system. Thou very inclusive, it is very complicated and time consuming. However, it includes all commodities, all factors, all markets, all prices in its domain of study. So, it is completely inclusive or wholly inclusive or very inclusive, but that very merit gives a contrary point regarding this, that is, it is very complicated and time consuming. It is difficult to draw a hard and fast line between the two theories. We just move along a continuum from partial to general equilibrium. In my earlier discussion, I had talked about how we come to the level of studying the theory of general economic equilibrium analysis, treading the path of partial equilibrium analysis. So, to draw a hard and fast line of difference between the two theories is not practical. In a case of an open economy, it is difficult to go with the general equilibrium analysis. In this global world or vast world where one country trading or having economic relations with another country, so multiple markets and commodities acting and interacting with one another. So, when the situation of open economy that is a reality now, it is difficult to go with the general equilibrium analysis. Nonetheless, general equilibrium analysis is still not only very fascinating, but also very useful, because I have already discussed that where its usefulness lie, and that is why even now it is quite fascinating and useful. But with the passage of time and growth of knowledge and the advancement of mathematics and statistics, this approach is becoming more popular among the economists, as now economics is very much related with the tools of mathematics and statistics. Nowadays, mathematics and statistics are the language of economics or economic analysis, or where there is lot of advancement in mathematical tools and statistical tools, having the computer and various programmings are there. The idea of simultaneity comes into consideration with rapid fire technology that comes to help to reach or use the theory of general equilibrium analysis. So, as we progress in the field of economics, the theory of general equilibrium analysis getting its importance up and up. Till now, we discuss all about the theory of general equilibrium analysis. But now, going through all the details at the level of analysis, we are going to illustrate the main points about the different principles of theory of general economic analysis given by different economists. That is why the heading of this slide, its principal variants and three central problems. So, let us very briefly, having all idea about the theory of general equilibrium analysis, how we proceed forward through which we apply the theory of general equilibrium analysis. So, let us discuss this. There are several theories of general equilibrium analysis given by different economists, but the two variants is very important and very discussed. The first variant, that is given by Leon Walras. It is a mathematical model of general equilibrium analysis. It is also called classical approach or classical theory of general equilibrium analysis. Another version of general equilibrium analysis, that is given by neoclassical, or that is why it is called neoclassical version, or it is based the excess on the basis of excess demand approach. That is why neoclassical version is the excess demand approach idea of the theory of general equilibrium analysis. The second variant, that is given by Professor W. Leontief, Wesley W. Leontief, and it is called input output analysis. As I have already discussed in the section of usefulness, the issue of input output analysis. This is basically not solely the empirical or operational version of the abstract Walrasian approach. So, the input output analysis is basically based on the Walrasian approach. However, there is some newness in this, but base lies in Walrasian model. In addition, there are also a recently formulated macro-dynamic equilibrium models of expanding economies. One of the limitations that I have discussed is its aesthetic nature, but now advancement led to devise various macro-dynamic equilibrium models by expanding economies. So, in addition, there are also recently formulated macro-dynamic equilibrium models of expanding economies. According to mathematical economists, the three central problems of general equilibrium theory. So, till now we discuss partial versus general, and what is general equilibrium analysis all about, what are its usefulness and where lies its limitation. But after all discussion, we are still fascinating with the idea of general equilibrium analysis, and we can't proceed in the field of economy having the tenets or the principles of the theory of general economic analysis. Day by day, we are going to come over the limitation, and in that context, the mathematical economists has devised macro-dynamic equilibrium models. Here not macro-dynamic equilibrium, very much associated with the theory of general equilibrium analysis, and in this context, three central problems comes under discussion. So, these central problems are existence, that is condition which must be made for an equilibrium to exist. So, this analyzes the situations under which the equilibrium can exist. Second, uniqueness, that is identifying of circumstances under which the equilibrium is unique. Different circumstances are there under which uniqueness of equilibrium lies. And the third important central problem under discussion, that is stability, that is analysis of the stability of equilibrium. If we attain the level of equilibrium, how far it is going to be stable, that is the third central problem. So, having all idea about the theory of general equilibrium analysis, we have to study in detail Walrasian model or Walrasian mathematical model, that is also called classical. Secondly, neoclassical approach, that is excess demand approach. Later on, input output analysis, and then after that we have to discuss existence, uniqueness and stability provision. I will discuss all these things in my later preparations, that is the end of this video. Before completion of this lecture, I again repeating that I have just given the basic idea of the theory of general equilibrium analysis. Later on, that is discussed in my last slide about the matter that is to be studied in detail, that is Walrasian mathematical model or classical model, neoclassical model, that is excess demand approach. Later on, the input output or Leontief model, and lastly the mathematical dynamic macro dynamic model given by mathematical economists, and clarifying about three central problems of existence, uniqueness and stability that will be discussed in my later video that are going to come. Thank you.